Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be painting over our chickadees. Make sure that all of your white parts are well covered with the white oil pastel, because when we paint over this, it'll end up coloring your bird if you don't, okay? So the first thing you're going to do, make sure you have a messy mat, your paint, your water dish. Mrs. Walker is going to have a big brush for you to share at your table. And you want to have your watercolors ready to go before you start. So on the colors that I'm planning on using, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of water to them to make sure they're woke up and ready to go. Alright, then let's set that aside. Now you have to really think about colors. You could do a sunset sky, right, with the warm colors. You could do a purple sky. That looks kind of very wintry, doesn't it? You could do a bluish purple sky, so if you add blue and purple together. And usually the sky is darker above and it gets lighter as it goes down, so keep that in mind as you're painting, that put your darkest colors above and then fade it out. Or you could do light blues and purples together. I think this is light blue and pink, a pinkish red. These pretty little speckles you see in here, we're going to add that at the end. If your paper is still wet, you got to do this fast. If you've still got a layer of water on there, then you can sprinkle some salt, or maybe Mrs. Walker will come around, sprinkle salt on your paper, and the salt will create that snowflake effect, okay? So I put snowflakes in my background too, but the salt's kind of that extra little special detail. Okay, so you remember we said that we were going to start with the water. So this big brush, everybody's going to use it, but don't use it till you're ready to paint, okay? As soon as you do this, you want to be painting on it. So I'm going to wet the brush, I'm going to take it and I'm just going to go across my painting. I want to get everything wet before I start to paint. And I want to do all of this while the water's still sitting on the top of my paper. I don't want to waste any time, because once it goes down into my paper, now this is a pretty, and you can just kind of go, you can even go right across your bird. Sometimes I don't go right on the bird though, in case if you happen to get too much on your bird. I guess I shouldn't have done that, because sometimes it stains the white a little bit. Oh, I wish I hadn't. You can go right up to the edges of your bird, but maybe don't go over him. So I can, because of the oil pastel, you can go right up to the edge and you don't have to worry about it. There, I got most of it off. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of purple up here, maybe some blue, and you can see how it's just blending together as you paint. I want it to be this very soft effect. I don't want it to be super dark because it's the sky, right? So light, pale colors look more realistic in your sky. Don't forget to paint right inside your pine needles. Go all the way to your branches. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty. And then I might do a little bit, just a touch of orange down here as it's fading off into the distance. So mine is sort of a sunset sky, but it's definitely nighttime, right? Nighttime sky. And then when you are finished, see, that only took me a few seconds, right? When you're finished with this, I'm going to blend that in a little bit more. I don't want to end up with a line of purple. So I'm just going to bring some of the purple down here. Okay, when you're totally finished, you need to raise your hand, let Mrs. Walker know, and I will come around and sprinkle some salt on it. And what the salt will do is, remember, it's going to give it that snowflakey effect. But if you don't have any glistening water on your paper, it's not going to work. So you got to work fast in order for this to happen. Okay? And when you're all done, these go back to the sink. Dump and rinse your water dish. Leave the watercolor paints open on the counter. You're going to set them next to each other so they can dry. When you're carrying it, be sure you don't spill any of that out because it's wet. And then pick up your whole messy mat, everything, your messy mat and your picture, and take both your messy mat and your picture to the drying rack. Okay?